Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Gateway community meeting today. We have two external guests. If you can, just write down your name on the agenda. And we have a special guest from, I guess, Mayava, you're from UK, right?
Yeah,
So thank you so
I'm
much
based
for
in the
joining.
UK.
Yeah, at your nighttime, we appreciate. Are you based off London or some other place?
So I'm somewhere in Liverpool.
Okay, cool.
I
Yeah,
travel between Liverpool and Manchester. Yeah.
nice. Yeah, my family have the tickets to ride, the UK version, so
Uh,
we're relatively familiar with different places in UK.
where for you based though?
I'm based in Raleigh, North Carolina, on
Okay.
the east coast of the United States. I think most of us from East Coast and Danny is from West Coast. I actually don't know.
Oh,
Tom, where are you from? I actually don't know where you're from.
I'm over here in Chicago. I'm on the
Okay.
south side of Chicago.
Okay, cool. So we're all US based.
interesting.
Yeah, so I'm really excited we have you today to thank you so much for your contribution to the Global Rally meeting. I remember we were just discuss on LinkedIn about how nice KGateway has local rally meeting support, and you graciously added support for global rally
Yeah,
meetings. So we're very grateful for your contribution. So
it's a pleasure.
yeah, today I'm going to pass the floor to you to take us away. We're particularly interested in the feature you developed, and also what's your contribution experience with kgateway, and how are you using kgateway? Why are you interested in the project? I know we've been having some Slack conversation, but in the meeting format, I think it's actually cool to hear the thoughts directly from you.
That's a good one actually. So I think the introduction to I first had the what's it called experience or the knowledge of Istio at my former place of work, where I was involved in the development, the configuration basically of Istio. So and then along the line, I just came across. I've been really eager to contribute to open source, just to develop my skill basically. So I just came across the kgateway. I'm like, okay, this is the same company offering the Istio capability and all of that. So I just decided to, I just usually go through issues, and then I just find the one that gets my attention, an issue that is, I would say, interesting basically. So and then I come across the global rating, and okay, I think I can challenge myself to work on this feature basically. So that was how I got on that basically. So Gateway, I've been using it, locally, experimenting it locally just to get a feel of how all of these features work together. So with not really much of um, production use case with Gateway from my end here.
Okay, so you're mainly looking at kgateway for contribution purpose. Thought
Yeah,
it's a cool
yeah,
project, but
yes.
you're not
So I
actually.
was mainly involved with Istio previously. Yeah,
Okay, that makes a lot of
yeah,
sense. Yeah, thanks for that background information.
yeah.
Now, do you have anything to share with us on your
Yeah.
journey to contribute to kgateway?
Nothing serious in particular. It's just with the global rate limit, it was really a lot. Because I think it took me days up to a week or thereabouts, having to go back and forth. And then at some point, I had issues with signing off. I think I reached out to you at some point and signing off commit, where I forgot to sign off commit. And then while I was trying to resolve all of that, I just, got commit from all other authors, about 170 commit. So I just had to start again from the beginning. So doing that just solidified the whole, research I was trying to make. I had to go through documentations, Envoy documentation, ETO documentation itself, just to see how the implementation is done. And, we even had to read through with the local rate limiting itself to get a feel of, okay, what's happening. how local rate limiting is being implemented. And then I think my first commit or my first push on the for the feature, I'm not sure if I pronounced the name right, Yuval or so.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, so he made a comment and said global rate limiting, like kgateway want global rate limit to be implemented the same way external authorization and external proc is being implemented. So he sends like an md.md file, and then I have to go through that because I was following another what's it called before, having to implement where the old descriptors and all of that will be done directly in kgateway. But after I sent that, and then I saw how the process basically of how we want it to be implemented in kgateway. So I just had to go through it, did some research, did some study. That was how I was able to come up with that. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Really exciting. Do you have anything you want to show from your work? I don't know if you have a
Yeah,
local environment that we would love to see it if it's possible.
yeah,
I
just
love
a quick one. I'm not going to take much of the time. Yeah. And screen. I think yeah. Sorry, can we see my screen, please?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So I think I added just a little documentation just to in my pull requests, just for users visiting. We just have a few. I know like a proper documentation is still going to come out, like similar to the one for local rate limiting, but I just like did a quick walkthrough of the whole process and how I came about that. So where the whole essence of global rate limiting, like we know, is to allow applied distributor across multiple instances, unlike the local rate limiting that just it's by envoy instance basically. So what happens here is the overview. Okay, the architecture basically is we describe the policy where we specify the global, and then the gateway extension here. I think I'm just going to open up a quick file. The gateway extension. Okay, so the gateway extension specifies a domain, and now the request gets to the to the gateway now. Then the policy applies. It extracts the descriptors, and then it sends it to the gateway extension. Now the gateway extension is referencing the rate limit service itself, the envoy rate limit service, which has been configured here through the config map. So the all descriptor, the all policy or rate limit now rather is being applied here in the config map here. So where users will describe what they want here. So now for this use case, now for this test case rather, I'll just be testing with the paths. I think we have the paths, the user ID, the remote address, and then the generic here, where users can specify key value. So yeah, I'll just be testing with the paths. So with this part here, and then the envoy has provided a what's it called, a configuration for this where users can easily go to get this the same configuration. So where the image, the Docker image used for the rate limit, and thanks to Yuval too, it was really helpful during the whole process. So I've done the whole installation just to set up the kind cluster and then the the gateway itself. So I'm just going to quickly apply this. So yeah, we have the what's it called again? We have the namespace, the gateway itself, the listener policy. This is just for basically for debugging, and the the policy now we want to apply. So we are applying this to this parts now. We are declaring this part. That's the descriptor here, and then the rate limit server, like I showed earlier. Then the route itself too, where we configure the route, we specify the host name, the gateway, the parts, and then the backend ref. So I'll deploy a backend just for testing sake to where it's just return an hello backend service. I'm just going to quickly apply this copy part. By the way, since it's a local development, I think I did something similar to port forwarded. Yeah, since we don't have a external external address rather. So sorry.
I love the name Super Gateway.
So this is going to apply all of the files here. We'll see, I think I have the key now. So it's going to create all of that here. It's already running. So I have a simple call command here where I just send a request to this particular part. So in our configuration here, we specified that in the traffic policy, I mean, in the rate limit rather, so because that's where the whole configuration is coming in, we specify that the request per unit per minute now should be 2. So any request that comes after that just returns a 429 error. So just going to copy this. So sorry, I think I need to the port. Restart again. I'm trying to port forward again for some reason. Okay, connection lost. Yeah. Okay.
By the way, you can use port forwarding in the K9S, which is very easy to do.
I know, right? But I've really not been using Kenai. I've abandoned Kenai for a long time. So I just go with the So it is. So the first request, we have a 200 okay. The second request as well, we have a 200 okay. And then on the third request, we have this here, the 429 too many requests. So I think if all proper monitoring and all of this are set up, even in the logs, the user should be able to see all of this headers here, the S-rate limit, the reset, and all of that things. Envoy provide that out of the box. So most of the configurations now so that's that about how all of this work. But I'll just briefly talk on the configuration as regards the things I just looked at when the files and all of that. So firstly was in the extensions where the external authorization and likes were implemented. So the same thing goes for the rate limit to where we have the domain. We have the fail open to where we can set the default is false, and then even the timeout here. So users can decide to still allow requests even if the rate limit server is not working properly. So that's where they set it to true. And then I think that there's not much there. And then the traffic policy. I think the bulk of the work happened and the where's that again? And the traffic policy plugin, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, and the plugins. I'm trying to find. The files can be too much sometimes. Yeah, the plugins. It should be somewhere. Kgateway policy. Yeah. Not here. Okay, I think this is just test file. Sorry. Let me. Kgateway. I think the translator too. I did some works in the internal representation translator. I'm trying to find that exact file, but the file just seems too bulky. What I can do here? No, not here.
Do you remember the rough name?
The traffic, I think it's called the traffic policy. We had the route policy plugin earlier, and then we changed the name to traffic policy. The name was changed to traffic policy plugin, if you remember.
If you do a search, I think it can find like
Okay, yeah. Okay, let me just do yeah. I think curbing action. Something, no way. Limits. Okay. Okay. Okay, get to an audio.
By the way,
Okay. I think the file is just so where is that again? Wasn't somewhere on plugins where we specified, except it has been moved and I'm not aware. Extension, sorry, yeah, extensions. I got it. Yeah, sorry. My bad.
oh, traffic policy is the full.
Yeah, exactly. This was changed. It was formerly route policy, yeah. So, and then a lot of stuff's happened. Yeah, what's it called now? The interpretation, basically, where it is done, the creative, we had did a lot of stuff in here too. Trying to find the Excel file. Apply listener, yeah, the listener plugin. So a lot of stuff happened here where we had to convert, do all of this, create a rate limit actions, create a rate limit config as well. So it was applied per route and then applied per HTTP filter too as well. So that's just a brief summary of what I did behind the hood. Yeah. Thank you.
That's amazing. Thank you. Does
Yeah.
anybody have any question for Mayaba? By the way, is your doc that page you showed, is that in GitHub?
Yes, it's in GitHub, but I think we still, before we publish public, we still need like the way the local rate limiting did the old stuff. So I did something similar, but not as detailed. So where you just have the simple explanation of how it just works user throughout to set it up. The rate, does the parts here, the user ID, the gateway, the extension too. And then even it can be combined with the local rate limit as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, very cool.
The description, the extension ref. Just a simple docs explaining how everything works together. Then these are the things supported: the remote address, the paths, the header, then the generic rate, then the response headers as well, which we saw here somewhere. Yeah, rate limit and all of those things. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Any questions? Okay, I don't see any questions at this time, so I want to thank you again for showing.
I think it's quite straightforward, I believe. Like, so configure, yeah, it's quite straightforward.
That's great to hear.
Yeah.
Sorry about the commit signing issue you had to, resolve and open a new PR. Awesome. Is there any other topic we want to discuss? Let me see if there's anything else on our agenda for today. One thing I want to, Nathan, are you still around?
Yeah, still around.
Hey, I know you're just starting your new job. I think Jenny reached out to you to see if it's possible for you to talk us through about external auth, which is an important feature in kgateway. So I wasn't sure if you'd be up to present maybe next week or the week after, or whichever week works for you.
Either will work. I'm still setting up some new compute with it, and I have a very simple sort of XDOT setup that I'll be able to sort of share at that point. So yeah, either way, either next week or the week after should work.
Okay, I'll pencil you in for next week then, because the week after, I think I'll be traveling. I may not be able to run the meeting. I would really love to hear from you on external auth, because it's one of the hot topic I think I've repeatedly see the community ask. Now, may I ask if your new job, you would use kgateway or not?
Not at this time.
Okay.
So I'm using it in my home lab today, but it needs some refactoring, as I got a few new pieces, and also some new compute that I'm going to use to drive my my home lab.
That sounds really cool. Wow, I would love to hear a little bit more about what you're building using kgateway in your home lab. It sounds like a super cool side project you got.
I'd like to think so.
Awesome. Thank you for signing up for next week. Excited to see what you got. All right. Anything else we should be discussing? If not, I'd love to give each of you a few minutes back. All right. Thank you all for joining. I'm not seeing any hands or messages. Really appreciate our presenter today. And thank you all for joining, and see you next time. Bye.
Bye, Chaz.
Bye.
Bye.
See ya.